We're going to take a look at Bible word trees in SwordSearcher. I'm studying Psalm 119. That's my active chapter here. I'm going to go up here and click this button. It says Open the Word Trees tool. So the first thing I see are a bunch of word trees. This is a scope preview. That means that Psalm 119 is my scope. That's what I'm looking at. And here's a bunch of word trees from Psalm 119. You can, when you're looking at these, you can scroll down as far as you want. It will keep showing you more and more previews the further you go down. I'm going to start by showing you this one here, keep. This is going to show me the word trees for the word keep in Psalm 119. I'll click it, and here we are. So on the top, we have the word tree for the words leading into the word keep, and on the bottom, leading out of the word keep. What does this mean, word trees? Why do I keep saying that? It's just a metaphor. Think of keep as the root. That's the word we're studying. Thy here is a branch. Here's another branch, precepts. And finally, you get to the end here, and with no more branches, these would be the leaves. So that's the metaphor. So this is a nice word tree that's kind of easy to comprehend in one quick glance. I'm going to go back to a word tree that's got some more content. See, we're looking at Explore Trees. I'm going to click this tab that says Scope Previews. And let's go up here and click on Word. All right. Now in this case, this text is too small to read because there are quite a few leaves, quite a few branches, quite a few leaves. Well, the nice thing about these in SwordSearcher is that these are fully interactive. What I mean is I can go over here. I'm going to click on this branch. I see this is according to thy word. If I click on this, it's going to zoom in and show me real close the leaves for the branch according to thy word. They're legible now because they're nice and big. And if I click it again, it's just going to zoom back out up to the next level. So you just click on any of these and you're going to zoom in on them, and you just click on another one to zoom back out. As you've seen, as I've been moving my mouse over these words, I'm getting pop-ups like this. Might be a little bit annoying in the video, but they're actually very useful. So for example, I'm going to hold my mouse over the word thy. So I'm looking at thy word. It tells me there are 35 occurrences in Psalm 119 of this phrase, thy word. It gives me a few hints. We'll take a look at those in just a second. And a bunch of previews so that if I want to read those, it's pretty easy to do in the pop-up. But let's look at these little hints. It tells you what you can do when you're clicking on the branches. We already saw that we can toggle a branch, make it active just by clicking on it. Now, that's easy. So I'm going to go back to the root here. Now if I go up here and I hold down the shift button and click it, I'm going to see all of these verses loaded into my verse list. I've got to move this out of the way to make space. Now keep in mind, if you click on something to open some verses, if your word tree's on the top, you're just going to have to move it over. Use this button to minimize it, whatever, so that you can see what you're doing inside the main SwordSearcher window. I like to use this with multiple monitors and move this off to the side like this and really give myself a lot of space. I held down shift and clicked according to, so now I can look close up at all of the verses in this chapter that have according to thy word. Now I'll leave it to you to go back and experiment with some of these other options that are listed here. They're described in the help file, but they're pretty easy to just play around with and get to learn. You can also right-click and select from the menu to do those things. I wanted to show you something else about this. You can resize these trees like so. Just click and drag this divider. This gives you, if you just want to focus on one of the trees, you can have a whole bunch of space for that. There's little shortcuts here. If I click this, it's going to maximize the bottom tree and hide the top tree. And I can just bring it back down like this. And likewise, if you click this button, it's going to maximize the top tree so that you can explore that with all of your space available. I'm going to make this a little bigger again. Let me show you the controls up here a little bit more closely. We've kind of already looked at this. This is the scope. That just means where are the word trees being generated from. Right now we're looking at Psalm 119. I'm going to drop down this menu. Since I'm studying Psalm 119, it shows that right here is the first option. But I'm going to expand it to cover the whole book of Psalms. Click that. And now the word trees are a lot more dense because it's not restricted to Psalm 119 anymore. So this is for the whole book of Psalms. So they get a lot bigger this way. And you can choose the entire Bible. I'm going to go back out to that. I'm going to just kind of zooming out to the entire Bible. Now here you can see something really neat about word trees. This is the entire Bible for the word word. Now this word appears very often in the Bible, 699 times. Now, there's no way you're going to read 699 words in this list. It's not meant to work that way. What you can see are some of the big themes, some of the big phrases. Now, I hope you're getting an idea how fun this can be just by looking at this. This is the most common phrasing that starts with the root. It's on the top and it's the biggest, and you could just kind of start drilling in here. There's word of the Lord. And word of the Lord came is a really common phrase that starts with this word. And you can start to see patterns and connections. And what you're seeing are basically Bible searches, just visualized in a different way. If I want to look at all the verses that say word of the Lord came, like I showed you before, I just hold down the shift button and click on that. And here we go again, some space. Word of the Lord came. You can read the verses more clearly this way. You can see the bar graphs that show you the placement of this phrase across the Bible. It's pretty neat stuff. Let's go back this way. Let's go back up here to the tools. You've got a lot of options. You could choose sections of the Bible or specific books, and you can type it in manually if you want. I'll just go Genesis through Exodus, first two books of the Bible. And here's where you could choose the text. Just leave this set to King James. And here you could type in a word manually, or you can look at what you've been looking at in the past here. But if you want to type in a word, Genesis through Exodus, let's say Moses. And there's all of the times Moses is used. Let's get my other tree back in view here. There's both of them. It's just a neat way to start looking at words in the Bible. Now I'm going to leave it to you to just start exploring. You can't break it, just play with it. Click, click, look around. You'll get a feel for how this works, and there's some more details in the help file. Let me show you just a few more tricks here. I'm going to close this, and over here in the Bible panel, if I right-click a word and go to word trees, I can load up a word tree based on what I've clicked on. I can say blessed for this chapter. That means the word blessed in Psalm 119, and that looks like this. I'm going to click, and you can see the word is used 3 times, and you could just kind of get a really neat idea how this word is used in this chapter. Also, if I right-click a word, go to word trees, you can open it up so that it shows you all of the occurrences in that book. In this case would be the Psalms, or just go straight to the whole Bible. The other options are to preview word trees for this chapter. We've already looked at that. Or for the whole book. If I click that, this shows me optional word tree options for the whole book of the Psalms. And there's just, scroll down and there's just going to be more and more and more. This is just a neat way to get some ideas, just to start exploring. Word trees are meant to be kind of a fun, different way to look at words in the Bible. Show you one more thing real quick. You can type in phrases. You don't have to stick just to words. You can type in, I'll do in the morning. So here's in the morning, and you can see the root is actually a phrase, not just a word. And this narrows things down a bit, makes it a little easier to read. And I'll back out to the entire Bible. And we can see how this phrase appears for the whole Bible. My goal here is just to give you kind of a crash course in what these are and how you move around in them. I leave it to you to explore in more detail. Have fun with this. God's Word's amazing, and it's kind of neat to see it in different ways. Thank you for watching.